and running down the street, and someone shouts after him, "Somebody stop him!" And I fucking step in with a huge shoulder, take him out. I've always wanted to do that.
On this episode of the podcast, it's the 2020-21 Premier League season preview. Who do we think is going to win the title? Who do we think is going to make the top four? Who's going to be our surprise package of the season? Who do we think will go down? And who do we think will get Golden Boot? Find out all this and more. Sit back, relax, crack open a cold one. It's time for 4 Manx, 1 Toffee.
I'm not having it. We'll talk about it and I'll start off actually. His name's Braithwaite. You can make up whatever you want. You can call yourself Brathwaite, Bruthwaite, whatever the fuck you want. Your name is Braithwaite. Why you like?
Just change it. If it's wrong, just fucking get it changed. Like, you don't say, "Oh, go on, then I'll just stick with that." No, wrong.
I'll just accept this spelling mistake for my whole life.
Fucking stupid. It's like I was listening to TalkSport before. And this guy, granted he was Spanish, but he was like, Barcelona and Barcelona. It's Barcelona. Shut the fuck up.
You
That's
are
Catalan,
English. It's Barcelona. They're saying as well with Brathwaite that he deals with property development and rental in New York and New Jersey.
Yeah, I heard that as well. That's pretty mental. I do get your point, though, Collins, when you're talking about commentators that maybe they're like a German league commentator, but they're English. And they'll be sat there in the studio after the game like a pundit. They'll be talking, So I think Bayern had a majority of the possession today, and Thomas Müller was really, really quite good. And also that Robert Lewandowski was also a very good player. It's just really, they say the names in such a pronounced accent. It sounds really out of place, especially when it's like German or Spanish players. It's dead funny.
Robert Lewandowski. Robert Lewandowski.
It's the fact that he repeated himself about 4 times. Like, we've not heard it for the last 10 years.
I
love Thomas Muller so much.
Speaking of Germans and their sense of humour, I've got a German joke for you if you want to hear it.
If you tell it in German, then I'm shutting this podcast down, mate.
I know, I can't say it in German. But... So the German guy, right, and he's a hunter, and he's hunting rabbits. So he goes out into the woods, and he spots one. So he's like, right, I'm going to have this. So he aims, right, and he shoots, and he just misses to the left. And he goes, fuck. And then he shoots again. He just misses to the right and goes, okay, successful day with the hunting and the shooting. And he talks to his friend. He goes, but you missed. He goes, I didn't miss because I hit him on average. Because he missed to the left and he missed to the right, but he got him on average. Cut that.
No, fucking leave that in.
How are you, Dale? You all right?
Premier League starting Saturday, boys. Are we hyped or are we hyped?
I can't fucking wait. I'm watching every last second of this England game is making me pine for the Premier League to come back. Fuck me, this is great.
It's dire, isn't it?
I turned it off.
It's dire.
Just can't be arsed.
I can't watch it anymore.
It's so painful going from what we had with the World Cup 2 years ago and how amazing it was, and then it's even worse to think that this year would have had the Euros. Like, it would have been so good building off what we did at the World Cup. We would have realistically done worse because Waistcoat keeps on getting his team selections wrong.
I don't understand what he's playing at today. If he's experimenting, then don't pick the same goalkeeper. If he's experimenting, then he's putting Jack Grealish on. Thank fuck for that. He's given him 17 minutes.
Wow, what a trip.
17 minutes. Now,
I bet he's wishing he'd gone home with fucking Foden and Greenwood.
Yeah, probably should have been out shagging with him.
I would back.
Take it home.
Yeah, I would back Grealish to come on and score the winner 100% here.
I hope he
Get
does.
your money on it.
I hope he does, and I hope he runs past Southgate and does the Carlos Tevez celebration that he did at Old Trafford against next to Fergie. Just runs up, cups his ears. Ignore me now, cunt.
No, I hope he just gets his dick out. I hope he just gets his dick out and he's just like, hold it.
He will just add
my
something.
meat.
Like he'll get the ball and he'll turn and he'll run at the defence with it. Every single England player tonight has gone backwards. They've got the ball. I've not seen Sterling, Sancho, anyone turn and take a player on. Not a single person's tried to beat their man tonight. And I don't know whether that's just them being a bit cautious because they know that the Premier League starts again next week, or whether it's just the instructions from the manager. It's got to be a combination of the two, surely. But it's just no impetus, just shit.
I think the problem as well is we stated it. I think everyone said it online as well. We started with 5 defenders and then 2 holding midfielders in front of them. So them 3 of Kane, Sterling, and Sancho. If they can't find one of the other 2, what are they going to do? Pass it back to Declan Rice? What's he going to do?
Yeah, they've got no one passing the balls in from number 10, have they?
No.
Anyway, how can you have 7 defensive players on the park? Like, how can you have 7
not playing
defensive players on the
Spain.
park? Exactly, you're playing. Even if you're playing Spain, what we're doing, it's like we're going to the gym, we're squatting 200, and then we're going and benching the bar. There's just no anything up top. There's just nothing.
Fergie did it. Fergie did it and beat Arsenal 2-0. So
I love you.
That's Arsenal.
Fergie had 8 defenders on the pitch.
8. There we go. It can be done, boys.
Right, so he's taken Calvin Phillips off for Jack Grealish. He's just come on now. 15 minutes left.
Insane.
I'd say that's like for like, but Calvin Phillips is shite and Grealish, isn't he?
I feel sorry for Phillips. I think he's been his debut and he's just been thrown out of sorts completely with this shite system that just doesn't suit him in the slightest.
What do you talk about? He plays for Leeds. He should feel at home.
Well,
do you know what I often think with selections and stuff like this, and it comes down to us all sat here asking questions, and we're not the only ones because obviously we've all got access to social media. Everyone's asking the same questions. And it used to be that I used to think to myself, well, he's the England manager, he's the manager of the national team, he's got lots of experience, ex-pro, he must know what he's doing and he must know or have reasons behind why he's done it. But I can't think. Now, I've never played football, obviously, as you know, but I like to think that I know quite a lot about football. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing a fucking football podcast. But at the same time, like, I can't think of any reasoning why he has picked the team that he's picked and the formation that he's picked and then the substitution that he's made. Like, that last one makes sense, but Mason Mount on for Sancho, like, when you need a goal, it doesn't make sense. And he's not given any of the players license to play the way that they're suited. It's like you were saying, like, play one of Phillips or Rice, not both of them. That's like playing Dyer and Henderson together. Like, it just doesn't make sense because you've got no one going forward. But I get this all the time where I think, surely they know better. But then you find yourself questioning more and more why they do things. And you think, well, come on, there must be some truth in what I'm thinking. I can't be completely wrong. And I'm sure everyone else is the same.
But he's limiting. He's even limiting the attacking talent we've got at the back. We've got Trent Alexander-Arnold. Yeah, his best feature is going forward and attacking. By playing a form, and I'm only picking him out as just an example of one player on the pitch. By playing that system that he's played tonight, he's completely cut off a part of Trent's game. That's been absolutely world class for 2 seasons in a row.
I disagree completely. I think he's tried to play that to put Trent. He's played Trent automatically 10, 15 yards further forward. But then his problem is he's crossing to fucking no one. Like, he's got the ball, and whenever he's had the ball, I tweeted about it earlier. England's tactic for that first half an hour was knock it around the defensive midfield for a bit, let Trent wander up without being noticed, and then let Connor Cody launch it to him. And we did that about 5 times in the first 30 minutes. And then when Trent got the ball, all he had was Harry Kane against 6 defenders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a fucking mint crosser, one of the best ones we've seen since Beckham. He's not that good.
Because it's one-dimensional, that's why. This is what I'm saying. It's too one-dimensional. You have to have a plan B, a plan. The problem with England, and this is where they're getting criticism all over the show, and I agree, when one plan doesn't work, there's just nothing.
Yeah, they don't have another go-to.
It's just someone banging their head on the wall until the wall caves in. There's just nothing like France have got a plan B. Portugal have got a plan B. Even teams like Belgium have got a plan B. We just have absolutely nothing. And then Gareth Southgate's putting Mason Mount on for Sancho. I know Sancho's not match. A lot of them aren't match fit, are they? But some of the fucking decision making from him is just bizarre.
The thing is, like, we have got enough options to have a plan B.
Yeah.
Look at Grealish, Mount. If Rashford's not there, fair enough. And then Foden and Greenwood have done what they've done, and they've like kind of ruined it for themselves and the team. But we have enough options on that bench to drop out of that 5 at the back system tonight and jump into a 4-3-3, jump into a 4-2-3-1, and match up better against Denmark and threaten them. I mean, I've turned it off because I got fucking bored of it, but that first half was painful.
Oh, Grealish did really well then. Got the ball on the left and dribbled it into the box. He just got dispossessed as he was about to cut it across.
Grealish does well on the football pitch, pretends to be shocked.
I thought he was going to go down, to be honest. I was thinking to myself, number one foul player in the Premier League, he's going down for a penalty here. No, he didn't.
I was going to say that when he came on, I wonder if he's under and over or how many fouls he's going to get.
The shit thing is, right, and moving on to one of the things that we want to discuss anyway, if this stays like this 0-0, you know who's going to get it. It won't be the team, and it won't be Southgate that gets all the flack. It'll be Greenwood and Foden that get it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to do
they were
with
there.
them.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with them. Because Greenwood hardly played the other night, and Foden, he played slap bang in the centre of the park when he should be drifting in between the midfield and the attack. That is where he lives. That's where he thrives.
Why he played him centre midfield in a 4-3-3 is beyond me. What a stupid fucking decision that was. I remember seeing, I think it was on TalkSport this morning, Dean Ashton was talking about it.
Yeah, I was
talking about how loose the under-21s were compared to the national team restrictions. And
that was come on the Alec for those that didn't hear from John.
And it's amazing to me that that hasn't been installed in these younger players coming through, that, you know, behaviour first, you represent in your country. But yeah, you cannot pin this on them two. This has to be pinned on Southgate. This has been poor.
They fucked up, and they need to be punished at the end of the day. And they've been debating it all across the media and the newspapers and all the rest of it. And the newspapers are always going to go in on them. Listen, they've made the mistake early on in their careers, and I hope it makes them more professional, which it should do going forward. If you want to get your mistakes out, everyone makes mistakes. You want to get them out early on in your career, don't you?
The fucking kids.
Well, yeah, exactly. But, you know, everyone's trying to say, like, oh, you know, it's just a bit of naivety and all that. It's not naivety. He went out for a shag and they got caught. And I hate this. I hate this thing where it's like, breaking news, Phil Foden has just released a statement. You know what that statement's going to say. It's not him that said that. I am embarrassed. I brought shame.
He's not, 100% he's not written that.
Lad, I'd have more
I brought shame to Stockport.
I'd have more respect for you if you just came out and went, yeah, tried to get me dick wet, behind everyone's back, got caught. What can I say? I'm a fucking idiot. I need to fucking do better next time, or maybe just not do it at all. That's it.
By the looks of the videos, they didn't even do that. They fucking just sat on their phones all the way through.
That was the thing. They go out.
Oh, you'd be gutted, wouldn't you? All this,
go out and get birds.
Fucking get your end away.
They go out and get birds, and they're both sat there on the phone like, oh, see what I've got on my phone. What are you doing?
To the new generation.
Yeah.
How are you hoping you're going to get laid by sitting on TikTok on the other side of the room?
Mental, innit?
He's got a kid. It's just astounding. Like, my phone would be absolutely nowhere. Unless she asked me to record, my phone would be nowhere in sight whatsoever. I'd be like, phone away, game time, let's go. But, you know, I never get attention ever, so.
They've probably... They've done themselves a favour, though, because like it means they don't have to part of this fucking dreadful performance tonight.
Yeah. But they did on purpose. They thought, you know what, fuck it. If we get caught, we get back to fucking pre-season training earlier.
As I was saying, I bet Grealish wish he joined him.
Well, think about it. Like, those two lads, one's for City, one's for United. They've got 2 weeks off now until they play again, because they've got they don't play till next weekend, do we?
Could you imagine if Grealish went out? Southgate would have had a fucking aneurysm.
I know he would have been made to go and play for Ireland. That's what would have happened.
Yeah, Greenwood and Foden will not be called up for the next squad, and I've sent Jack Grealish to Dublin.
Jack Grealish now plays for Gibraltar.
Yeah.
Danny, have you seen who scored in the 65th minute for France tonight?
I've not, mate.
You'll be very impressed. I'll give you a clue. He's fast. Very fast.
Yes.
He's very strong and very fast.
There's only one man that's coming to my mind right now that's French, fast and quick.
All right, you said French. I was going to say, is it Upper Meccano, Varane, or Koulibaly?
Well, it was up at Meccano.
Good player.
But the funny thing was, I loaded up my phone and the first goal I saw was Giroud, and I got really confused.
No, he ain't fast.
Unless he's taking out his
stocking.
That was a repeat score of the World Cup, wasn't it? France, Croatia, 4-2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great
World Cup
game.
final.
Did Pogba play?
Oh, what? Yeah. No, I don't think so. He's probably modelling that new fucking zebra.
He's got
shirt that we've got.
coronavirus. No, he's got coronavirus.
He's got the Rona, mate.
No, he's surely been cleared by now.
No,
He's got- yeah.
That was done ages ago. That was like
All right.
2 weeks ago. That
I think they just kept him away from the squad, though, didn't they?
I think a lot of United players have been, to be honest.
I just feel like United players are all put in there's loads of things in a hat, conditions and like scenarios, and every single United player is just putting the hand into this hat and pulling one out. So Greenwood's pulled out and gone, breaking COVID regulations in Denmark and Iceland. Okay, that's me. How about you, Maguire? Getting arrested in Mykonos. Driving the police. How about you, Pogba? Oh, I've only got the Rona.
I've got to stay behind and model this new shirt.
And then Lindelof has been battling off robbers, hasn't he? In Sweden?
I know, yeah.
Stealing purses. Well, he's not been stealing purses. The robber has, but he chased him, didn't he? Chased him down. That's always been one of my fucking dreams, that has. To nail someone that's stolen a purse or something, running down the street, and someone shouts after him, "Somebody stop him!" And I fucking step in with a huge shoulder, take him out. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to do it. I don't know why, but I've always imagined it. You know, when you go shopping with your missus and you sat there outside the shop because you're not fucking going in, and then you sat there and you just daydream. You think, if someone breaks away now and then a massive fat security guard runs like chubs after him, and you see him and you think, this is me, this is me, and then you snapped out of it because like, fucking old these, you knobhead, and your girlfriend comes out of all these bags. Yeah.
Mate, I'm that gimp that sits in the store and looks
On the little booth.
Yeah, I'm the same, mate. I was about to say, you made a mistake there. You go in, you sit in the changing rooms, mate. You sit on that little cushions. It's tidy.
That's what I'm looking for. Just, those 4 little cushions that are all pushed together in a tiny little space.
You try shoes on.
Usually next to the shoes. That's my spot there. And I'm usually sat there with another 3 blokes all on our phones. Trying to avoid the awkward situation that we're in. I'm that guy.
You ever get asked for advice?
Bet on.
Like, she'll turn around to you and she'll be like, "Oh, do you like this? Do you think this will look nice on me?" And I'll literally say the same thing every time. I'll be like, "I'm wearing blue trainers with like red pants and a grey shirt, and you're asking me for fashion advice. Will you fuck off?" And just
We just about got that because of your fucking shitty Welsh internet.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Words like this.
Is it going in and out? Is it?
When Nicole's shopping, I
out.
just fucking... when she says, "What do you think about this?" I say yes to the first 3 things she asks me, and then I throw a no in every 4th thing. And then it makes it look like I'm not just saying yes every single time. So I say, yeah, nah. Even if I like it, don't care. You've got to stick to the plan. She doesn't listen to this, so I can say what I want.
She comes out in some black suzzies for the 4th option, and you're like, no, I don't like it.
No.
Oh, shit.
Next shop's Ann Summers. Oh, it's on the no pile. Fuck.
Should we go to Boo Avenue? No, don't want to go there.
No. No, Primark's next. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, that's. Do you know what the worst thing about Primark is? The fact that the men's section has over the years got smaller and smaller and smaller, and now it's like one aisle, and it's fucking shitloads of knockoff shoes that look like Adidas.
What fucking Primark have you been in? That Manchester one's still like
Nah.
all bottom floors, pure man's.
When that big, massive new one at the Trafford Centre, when I was in there, oh my God, like you could fit the men's section on a postage stamp. It's fucking tiny. And the women's section takes up 4 floors or something ridiculous like that. I'm like, why do you need all these mini socks? How many socks do you need that are different sizes? I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
I knew where you were going. I knew where you were going with that.
Yeah. I've got 2 points to make about Primark that are real bugbearers for me. One, the escalators. If you want to go down, you've got to walk to the other end to go down.
Yeah.
And then you've got to walk all the way to the other end again to go down. The second thing, and this isn't just Primark, so I'm not just slagging just Primark Cafe, but why did they sell individual pairs of socks?
No.
Mate, I want a pack. I want 7. 1 for each day of the week. I'm going to put holes in at least 4 of them.
Yeah.
So I've got to make sure I've got some that are going to last me for 12 months until Christmas comes around and I get a couple of packs from the family.
I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen an individual pair of socks.
Oh mate, yeah, they sell individual pairs of socks.
Yeah. Like like ones with like little pineapples on or little Robin Redbreasts.
Yeah.
You know, like,
They're not packs of 3.
Ones. No, just like a pair.
Fucking cheap cunts.
And honestly,
fucking cheap cunts.
How much are they? 70p?
Yeah, exactly.
No, honestly, they're charging like 7 or 8 quid for a pair. Honest.
You can buy a t-shirt for less than that.
Usually
you can get shares in Primark for £7.
Honestly. But they're always on the front where the queue is as well. Like you'll always see them just before you get there, and they'll be next to like cheap fucking sweets and protein bars, and you just think like, who the fuck's put that fucking selection there?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of customer are you expecting?
Those Love Island bottles, those
when you're going for your fucking gym gear.
Yeah, I do always buy a protein bar. To be fair. I'm constantly having to buy socks from there. I caught it right. Mrs. takes me socks all the time. She takes me socks all the time, right? And it culminated the other day. I couldn't believe what was there, and it culminated the other day. I saw her go in my sock drawer, and I was like, "What are you doing? Why are you taking my socks?" And she went, "You constantly take mine. You're constantly taking mine." And I was like, "What? Have you seen the size of your feet? You've never taken yours ever." I'm size 12. Mate. You're size 4. Children's size. If you take my... I don't understand how she's wearing my socks. My socks on her must look like a fucking onesie. They're fucking massive.
Pulling them up as tights.
I was gonna say she's walking around in fucking knee highs. It's not. It's just your grotty gym socks.
Oh yeah. Stinking as well.
Oh yeah.
Have you been in Collins's car? Jesus Christ! Before I get in, he has to wind all of the windows down, open the boot, and spray deo just before I get in. He's got about 10 air fresheners on the front.
Listen, if you're going to insult me, get it right. It's Christmas for Breeze.
Listen, I've left my sunglasses in the back of his car. I'm expecting them to have rotted by the time I get them back.
Yeah, they've disintegrated now, they have.
Yeah.
You're just lucky I've not worn them with my nose. Fucking hell, you'd have one there and one fucking eye up on your forehead.
Stretch the gap in the middle.
Is it fucking Nigel Thornberry?
Size of my fucking nose. I could smell you were going to leave them in my car before I dropped you off.
Well,
moving swiftly on anyway from the Primark talk on this football podcast.
Cut.
Let's go to big question that everyone is asking, which is Liverpool have obviously won the league, but haven't strengthened. City have strengthened. They were not close enough, not even good enough to where they were 10 years ago, let alone to where they were the season before when they did so well. They'll be looking to improve. We're obviously looking to push on, but our transfer dealings, we're not even going to go there. Chelsea have had a strong...
Boys, since the last time we did a podcast, we've signed a fucking player.
Woo! No. Donny van der
Donny
Beek.
van der Beek.
What are we thinking? What are we thinking for the title race?
It's got to be...
It's wide open, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Liverpool will be up there. Unless they either lose a couple of players before the end of the window or they get injuries early on. But other than that, I think City look like they're going to do a bit more business. I think it looks like Koulibaly will eventually go there. But other than that, I've not really seen him linked to many other players. Chelsea have to be considered. I'm not having any other way. It's not another year for them to settle under Frank Lampard. If he doesn't get one or two, like top or second in the league, then he's a failure this year. United, probably nowhere near.
I don't think we'll be nowhere near. I think we'll push. I think it will depend on if a few more names come in. Obviously, Reguilon is the one that's been spoken about heavily at the moment.
Yeah.
An area that we definitely need to strengthen in. A new centre-back, definitely. And then it'll be whether we can push the Sancho deal over in line or not. Which I'm not. The longer it's going, the less I'm expecting it now. I was so confident at the start of the window. And now I'm just like, I don't know. If we're not going to spend that money on Sancho, I'd rather we just went out and started buying other players instead. Like, you're not telling me there's not another right winger that we can go and buy and just help the development of Mason Greenwood. I said it the other day. I think it's between Chelsea and City for me. I just think Pep is not going to let last season stand. He's going to come back fighting this season. Torres looks good. Ake is a quality acquisition. If they bring in Koulibaly, that solves that problem area. It's just then keeping the forwards fit, I guess. De Bruyne is still going to be the best player in the league again.
Yeah.
Chelsea, the only problem is gelling all them players together. Obviously, there's a lot of signings to bring in to get ready for a title challenge in the first season. But the players are fucking good enough, aren't they? So I think it's between Chelsea and City. And I'm probably, if I'm edging to one, if I've got to pick one right now, I'll probably go with City.
Dale, I saw your face turn red when I mentioned United's transfer dealings, mate. What are you thinking? What's in your mind?
It's just a game of chess at the minute, isn't it? I mean, we've got one over the line, haven't we? But like I say, whether we can get another one or two probably at a push, but another one at least. You'd probably count that as a solid summer transfer. But going back to the league, I've got a feeling a few teams are not going to be as shit this year. I don't think Tottenham will be as bad as they were. I think Arsenal will be a lot better than what they were. Chelsea, look at the signings. They've got to be pushing there. City again can't be as bad as what they were, at parts last season. So I don't think Liverpool will get it all their way in front like they did last season. And I think that top two, top three will be a lot closer this time around. And you could even go as far back as Wolves. They haven't got European football this year. Solid team. Will they be pushing top 5, 6? Everton will improve. Leicester, they've got European football. Have they got the squad to do it? To battle on both fronts. I think it'll be a tough one, but I'll probably go with City winning it.
I think City will win it. I think you're the same as well, Josh. I think you're thinking City.
Probably.
My heart is saying City. My head is saying that Liverpool, because it's the same squad. I don't think they'll lose anyone, to be honest. I don't think Wijnaldum is daft enough to go to a failing Barcelona team over Liverpool Football Club at the moment. I know they didn't win Champions League, but champions of England, aren't they?
Yeah. But the Wijnaldum one, I think the Wijnaldum one will all be dependent on Thiago.
Yeah.
I think those two deals are very dependent on each other. And I think I even said this in like podcast 2, I think it was. Like Liverpool's finances are fucked. Like they praise this net spend. They're not generating funds from anyone.
Do you know, I read an incredibly interesting thread about Liverpool's finances.
Was this on Reddit the other day?
It might have. It was on Twitter where I read it.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
It was incredible. Like, so what it turns around as is that they might have the profits and they might have the net sales, but what they don't have is cash flow. And it's the teams like United, City that do have major cash flow, which means that we can be in debt and we can make these big spends because we've got the cash on hand to do it, whereas Liverpool don't, and they have to make player sales to make cash available to physically give it to the other club. And that's what they can't do, and that's why they need to sell players, even though they're profitable by a long shot. It was really, really interesting. I copied a link, but I'll try and find it again for those of you who've not read it. It's long, but it goes into the deep.
We'll get it on the Twitter. We'll get it on the Twitter 100% because it's definitely
really
worth a read.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. We'll retweet that out to people listening. We'll get it out on our feed.
All right.
This is the life. San Miguel. What's Josh Lahr drinking? Australia.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I'm quite partial to an Estrella every now and again. So much so that I'm buying at least a pack of 4 a week at the moment.
I was going to say, was that yours or was that left in the fridge by someone else?
I was going to say, was that Steve's?
No, but I've already had those. That went at the weekend.
Lee, what are you drinking, mate?
It's protein shake.
In a pint glass?
My shaker's in the car. I left it in the car.
So how have you made that?
I just put it in a measuring jug and mix it with a fork. And then
mix it with a fork.
The traditional way.
I've never heard anything more pikey in my entire life.
I'm having to fucking chew it.
So you put the protein in the pint glass and you've put the water in and you've mixed it with a fork? In
a measuring jug. And I use milk as well because I need the calories.
Yeah, good. I was going to say water. No, sorry.
No, I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of water.
I'm usually water, but
double scoop of water.
Protein.
That's calm. That.
Right, mate, I'm trying to get past the fact that he's whisked his fucking protein shake.
I've not got a metal ball, have I?
Rather than just walk into his car.
I
had limited time. Got to be back on, and I professional.
I drive to the shop and buy myself a protein shaker rather than put it in a pint glass and whisk it with a fork.
That was good, that. Yeah, I got that big. It was a massive tub from Home Bargains.
Yeah,
it was 15 quid, and it's 105 calories per scoop.
So
30 grams of protein. Amazing.
Yeah, I hate when they put calories on stuff because if they put 105 calories on something, then I'm like, can I have 7?
Oh. Do you see Ronaldo scored a free kick for Portugal tonight? I've just seen it.
He scored 100 international goals.
Yeah.
What a free kick that is.
He's reached that milestone tonight. He's just incredible, isn't he? Like, him and Messi, man, are just like, I think that's going to be over in the next year or so. He's just,
I know, gutted.
Very mildly upsetting.
Oh, he scored an absolute screamer as well. Oh my god,
mate, he's absolutely class.
He's better for his country at the moment.
Lads, leading on from what we said a second ago, we're talking about the title race. Just 1 to 4, no explanations. Don't have to get into it and explain yourselves. What are the top 4 going to look like from 1 to 4 for you this season? I will start. I'm going to say City, Liverpool, United, and Chelsea.
Right.
Ooh.
I'm going City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United.
Agreed. That would have been my selection. Those four in that order.
Big brains.
I'm going to go
Go on.
City, United, Liverpool, Chelsea.
Gee.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put my bias aside now and say Everton, United, City.
I knew that was coming. I knew it. I knew it was coming, and it still got me. It's still
Fucking hell.
Put your red noses, get fucked.
Signs James and thinks he's a big one.
Oh, I can't wait to start talking about James Rodriguez. I'm so
Well, that's
excited.
going to be the next topic, which is
Oh,
obviously some clubs have had some amazing transfer windows. The obvious one's Chelsea. Everyone's spoken about Chelsea, and that's fine. Fair enough. They deserve it. Everton have got to be second, though, because they have had a stormer of a transfer window so far. James Rodriguez, what a signing that is.
£12 million.
No,
What?
was it 12?
22,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
BBC put out the thing today and said it was initially reported it was £20 million, but they believe
Yeah.
the fee is actually £12 million.
Is that without the-
Because he is on that under bracket of world class. He is phenomenal. I can't explain how excited I am to watch him in the Premier League. I hope to God he recaptures his form under Ancelotti. Because if
Do
he
you know what?
does, we're going to watch a baller.
So I
Have we-
hate
have
it.
we-
Sorry, go on, Dale.
Yeah, I was going to say, have we already got the winner of the signing of the season then?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
12 million for 12 million. That is ridiculous. Oh wow.
Oh, I hate
Yeah.
it when
I'm just gonna
people
double check
say
that,
what
but I'm
I'm
sure
about
it
to
is.
say. But if he's that good, why wasn't anyone else going for him?
Mate, he's absolutely class. Sometimes when Kim gives me the eye, and I know tonight's going to be the night, I put on his goal from the 2014 World Cup to get me in the mood.
Oof.
He is that good. He is a banging player. And if Ancelotti can get anything even close to his best out of him this season, Everton are going to look like a completely different team than the one that finished last season.
If T-Rex keeps the mistakes at bay, yeah.
I think you'll sign a keeper though. I'm pretty sure that's going to be high on the list, isn't it? Really, realistically speaking.
I'm surprised it's not
Romero.
more of a priority. He obviously has confidence in him. I think he, I don't know. I just maybe he just feels like he's still capable, even with the mistakes and the shit back end of the season. Shit season, really. Wasn't just the back end.
He is.
Yeah, it says
he just
that
doesn't look
the
secure,
deal for
does he?
Rodriguez was previously reported as being worth 20 million, but BBC Sport understands that the fee was about £12 million.
Does it say about £12 million?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it could still be 22.
yeah, it could be rising potentially. But when you think that his transfer to Real Madrid was like 63 million,
Yeah. He was expensive, wasn't he?
It looks like
does he excite you, Josh? As an Everton fan, is he the type of signing that really excites you?
He does. I'm honestly I'm really, really excited by the three signings that we've got.
yeah.
Obviously, we've announced tonight that we've signed Decore and this Alan. I've been told, because I've not seen enough of him to really have a good opinion of him, but I've been told by people that do watch the Serie A regularly, and they've watched Champions League games with Napoli and that, but everyone seems to think that he's a good player, really hard worker, good engine on it, goes into tackles well, not scared like Sigurdsson. And we need a player like that. We do need a player like that. Tom Davies isn't good enough. I'm surprised we've not binned him off yet. I'm very excited by the three signings, especially James Rodriguez, because if you'd have told me 5 years ago that we'd sign him, no chance. If you'd told me 5 years ago we had a manager that was capable of pulling a player like that in, no chance. So it is exciting times. However, I went to the Barbers today. This is what I wanted to talk to you boys about. So I went to the Barbers today, and he is a Liverpool fan. So you may say slightly biased. But he said to me, all rivalries aside, I can already see you rolling your eyes, Collins. He said, all rivalries aside, Carlo Ancelotti has never had to build a squad at the teams that he's been at. So he obviously said Real Madrid, the team was already there. Bayern Munich, the team's already there. I believe AC Milan, the team was already there. Napoli was the first team where he had to sort of build a squad, and it didn't quite pan out for him, I don't think. I mean, he did well in the... he got them into Europe, didn't he?
Yeah.
He did okay in Napoli. It's not like he did a shit job.
Yeah, he didn't do dreadful.
Do you know what I've just remembered? I've just remembered that he was actually manager of Napoli, and he had Alan there as well. That's where that's all just clicked to him as well, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the link is, yeah.
So this barber said to me, he was like, how many years did you sign Carlo Ancelotti on for? And I said, well, I believe it was 3. And he said, yeah, precisely. So he's going to build this squad, and he's got 3 years. He's already been there for 12 months. And he is buying players that are like 29, 30 years old that probably only got 3 years in them, and then they've got no sell on, like nobody's going to really buy them for the same amount, if not more, like they've not really got any like equity behind these signings really, they're at the back end of the career. So if it doesn't work out, these signings, who I'm excited about still, don't forget that, but if it doesn't work out in the next 3 years, then he's going to leave because it's not gone well if he doesn't get sacked. And then we're going to be left with this team that's old, and we're going to be fucked, basically. And it did make me think, if that is the case, because obviously I'm not part of the club, I don't understand the ins and outs, but it did make me think, what if that is the case? What if it doesn't go well for Everton in these signings? It doesn't go well under Carlo Ancelotti and Marcel Brands, which it hasn't so far. And then he fucks off and leaves us with an aged team.
Listen, there's a risk. There's a risk with signing players. Yeah, of course there is. But the problem is, right? There's a major flaw in that idea. One, I'll address Ancelotti first. Ancelotti's never getting the big jobs without paying his dues, and he paid his dues. He's early in his career. I can't remember who he was with early in his career, but he was doing big things with smaller teams in Italy. He managed Parma, I think, before he went to Juventus. He was in charge of Juventus. This is how long he's been managing. He was in charge of Juventus when we beat them in '99. Double check that. I might. It was either him or Marcello Lippi, but I'm pretty sure he was in just after Marcello Lippi, and he was in when we beat them in '99. The guy has been class all across his career. He's proven that he can win trophies at clubs that he goes to. It's one thing to say, he's been given squads here, there and everywhere. Well, look at the squads that other managers get given, at Real Madrid, and they don't deliver. Look at the squads that Bayern Munich, for example, this season, Kovac had exactly the same team as Hansi Flick had. Kovac made Bayern look like absolute fucking dire dross shite. Hansi Flick gets hold of him, exactly the same team, turns him into treble winners. Yeah, it's the manager, and he's a class act, Ancelotti, and he's been a class act all throughout his career. That's why he's got the jobs that he's got. He's coming to a bit of a tough stage in his career where, and no disrespect to Everton, there wasn't any big jobs available. So he's gone to, I'll say, a sleeping giant. I think Everton a huge football team. If it wasn't for the European ban in the 80s, Hughes might have left a European legacy that would have pushed you onto bigger heights now. Obviously, we'll never know because of the circumstances at the time. The other thing about the age... No, mate, don't talk to my dad about it. My dad's a United fan, and he rages about it as well, but because obviously they remember they went through it all and stuff at the time, didn't they? The other point I'll make, and I'll make this into bud because I'm waffling on myself, the aging team thing, I get that, but Everton have got no experience in their team whatsoever. You've just lost one of your most, if not your most experienced player in Leighton Baines. There is nothing but youth in that team, and you need experience to guide you. You need experience.
That was exactly my point completely. That you've got a bunch of kids under a experienced manager, but you were relying on was it Braithwaite or Braithwaite, whoever your centre back is that you had to bring through last season. You've had no experience, you've no heads, and like I said, Baines has gone now. You're looking at one of your most experienced players being someone like Calvert-Lewin. which must be scary as if you're looking for locker room leaders. So you're bringing in, you're not bringing in aging player. Yeah, you got Seamus still, but you're not it's not like you're bringing in 31-year-olds. You're bringing in 29-year-olds. I mean, Alan's 29, James is 29. Decore, I'm not too sure on his age. I would have guessed 27, 28.
Yeah.
So you're not bringing in age, but you're bringing in footballers aren't aging like they used to. Like when we were growing up, and like when we were watching football in the 90s and the early 2000s, and a player at 30, they were finished.
27 Decore.
But 27, there you go. Yeah. So you're looking at players like Ronaldo, who's still at the top of his game at 35. You've got Ibrahimovic, who's still killing it at like 38, 39. Like these players don't slow down because the quality of the playing style, the quality of the recovery that we have now, like the sport science behind the game is helping these players play for a lot longer. So yeah, you're buying a 29-year-old James Rodriguez, but you're buying a 29-year-old James Rodriguez with a point to prove under a manager that he loves. I mean, I think that's the biggest part is he's got a point to prove now. He flopped at Madrid. He didn't really do too much at Bayern until Ancelotti was there. I think if I was an Everton fan, I would be fucking buzzing.
Yeah.
Like them three signings together. We said about it in the last podcast. Tom Davies, not good enough. Gylfi Sigurdsson, it's finished. Andre Gomez was your only good midfielder, realistically. So these three coming in. And then, Tomori today was being linked on loan to fill in that centre-half gap.
I've not heard much about that, but I'm going to presume that it's Everton trying to pull somebody in because Mason Holtgate went off injured in a pre-season friendly. So yeah. I'm thinking they're looking for a replacement there. Hence why it's a loan.
I think Tomori would be a fantastic signing on loan. I really do.
Yeah, I do. He's an aggressive player, isn't he?
Yeah, it'd be like the Kurt Zuma signing that you had a couple of seasons ago. I think really, really good signing, that one. But like you said, you also have bigger problems where I think Dale, you said it a couple of podcasts ago, the biggest money you've spent was 50 million on a bang average Richarlison. Now, if Ancelotti can get him going again, different story, but then you've got Pickford to deal with still, who I still don't think is good enough to be your number one.
He just needs, he needs somebody behind him, doesn't he? Like another goalkeeper that's going to challenge him for the number one spot. That's his problem.
Yeah, on the pitch at the same time.
You need Romero.
Yeah, Romero would be perfect for Everton.
The question here is, with this window, say Everton do get Tomori in and get a new goalkeeper, is that enough to jump over Leicester, Wolves, Arsenal and Spurs?
Yeah. Leicester and Wolves, I'd say so, yeah. Because I think Leicester and Wolves are in a bit more trouble than we realise. Like Wolves losing Doherty, yeah, it's one player, but that is fucking huge.
It's a big loss, that. And Babs, you said it a few podcasts ago. You were talking about Leicester and their form. They've just lost one of their best players in Chilwell. We don't know what this lad's like, who they've got in to replace him. I can't pronounce his bloody name.
Who've they got in?
Haven't they got that left back from Leipzig?
I can't remember his name. Yeah, Castagna.
Atalanta. Yeah,
Atalanta, not Leipzig. Sorry, Atalanta. Sorry, I was thinking Champions League quarterfinalists. You've just got him in, yeah, but we don't know if he's going to be anything up to the standard that Chilwell. And Leicester fans have been coming out here, there, and everywhere saying, "Oh, Chilwell, he was bang average after lockdown, or rest of it." Well, he wasn't, though, was he? Like, he's a good player, Chilwell. He is a good player. Let's face it. Spurs have quietly been doing little bits of business with the money that they've got. I actually think, he's mentioned earlier on the podcast, I think Spurs are going to be a lot better this season. Shaw is out on Arsenal. I'm not sure on Arsenal. I think their transfer dealing is very strange, I must admit. Magalhaes, I think he's going to be a decent signing. Aside from that, giving a 3-year deal to Willian is...
Can't be any worse than what they've got, though, at the back, can it, really? I mean...
Here we go.
David, my thoughts on David Luiz, Mustafi. I mean, it might as well be me and you playing at the back, Chris.
What are you talking about? I'm a decent defender.
But
I'm genuinely offended at that comment.
I mean, I've just go back to Josh and Everton, and going back to like the transfers that they've got. I mean, I know Ancelotti's bringing in, like you say, the sort of late 20s, 28, 29, but he's not spending too much money on these sort of players. I mean, if it is this 12 million on Rodriguez, I mean, for 29-year-old, that he's got a bit to prove. Let's be honest. But if he does prove it, 12 million. If he doesn't prove it, 12 million. It's not a lot of money. I mean, this.
Yeah. Alan, even if it's 20 million, it's
I mean, but like I said, a comment earlier as well is about the experience that they bring as well. Not just the experience, the quality they could potentially bring you as well, which has been lacking as well at Everton. I say you spent 50 million on a Richarlison, which is looking a bit of bad business value wise.
He's probably more like 30, I think, based on how he's performing at the moment.
Yeah, but I think Ancelotti's he's kind of buying within his means. He's not overdoing it, but he's been very clever in the dealings that he has done, which I don't think previous managers there have done recently. They just splashed big money, expecting things. It's not worked out, and then they've left, and the next manager's picked up the dross that's been left there.
Yeah,
a bit like us, really. You can see the parallels between us and Everton.
Exactly like us, yeah.
But like Ollie, there's a plan now. Like, you can see where Ollie's trying to go with the squad. You can see where Carlo's trying to go, because with Alan and Decore, he's trying to get that horrible, nasty bite back in the middle of the park, where Everton are a really tough team to break down, where it's going to be a horrible day out going to Goodison to face them again. If he can get the defence sorted and get a decent keeper, you can see what Carlo's going for all day. He's going for a really, really, really not defensively minded team, a defensively strong team.
Yeah,
who are dangerous when they're going forward. And with players like James, could you imagine if James as well? Like, I see a lot of potential in Richarlison. I see a lot of potential in Calvert-Lewin as well. If he can serve up fucking through balls here, bit of magic there, like he's one of those players that can see a ball that 9 out of 10 players can't see on the pitch. If he can provide just a little smidgen of what we've seen in the past when he's been at his best, you're talking Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin could have an extra 10 goals each.
Yeah,
easily. No, I think with James Rodriguez at Everton, it's probably, maybe apart from Colombia, it's probably the first time he will be the main star of a team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't. At Bayern, he wasn't. Now he's got the chance to go to Everton and say, right, I'm the superstar here. You can all play around me. And I think it'll really suit him that. And that's why I'm excited.
I think he'll thrive on that. I think he'll really thrive on that responsibility of being the linchpin of the team. And like you said, everything's going to flow through him. Every man that has the ball on that pitch, their first instinct should be looking for Rodriguez. Like, it should be, have you got the ball? No. Win it back. Give it to Rodriguez. Have you got the ball? Yes. Give it to Rodriguez. It's like the old Scholes map we used to have years ago. If you've not got it, win it, give it to Scholes. That's what you've got to be. That's what you've got to make James. But you said about the attacking force as well. I think we forget, Decore was deployed a lot as a 10 last year as well. Like, Decore last year really adapted his game and really improved a lot on his attacking work. And the bite, if you talk about the bite, he's hard. Look at the size of him. Like, he loves a challenge. The best video I've seen of Alan is him making a tackle and celebrating it.
So that clip.
That screams defensive midfielder. You've made a challenge and you've celebrated it like a goal. I love that. Like,
I'm not looking forward to playing then next season.
I'm not.
It's the first time where I've thought, I mean, you did us 4-0 a few years ago. But, like, you haven't been to Goodison and thought it's going to be tough. for a while. Like we said it a few podcasts ago, the Duncan Ferguson era, the Thomas Gravison, the Fellaini, like the players you don't want to play against. I'm not looking forward to Allen going against Bruno Fernandes.
Oh.
Mate, Decore and Allen are the new Gravison and Carsley. Pass it on. It's going to be immense. I'm hopeful about Everton this season. I think they're going to do really, really well. In terms of teams improving a lot, let's move on to the bottom end of the table. First one we'll go over. First topic we'll go over. Who do you see, and this includes the promoted teams as well, who do you think is going to be your surprise package? Last season was probably, and we'll unanimously say it was Sheffield United, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who's going to be the teams that perform above expectations this season?
Do you want to argue now or later?
I'm not fucking having Leeds United.
Leeds United, mate. Leeds United finishing above Sheffield United this season. I'm having that right now.
Not having it. I'll tell you what, I put my money where my mouth is. 20 quid says that Sheffield United finish above Leeds United this season.
I'll have that 20 quid on, 100%.
Easy.
Yeah, I'll have Leeds finishing above Sheffield.
Easiest money.
20 quid. I'll have 20 quid. They both get relegated. James.
I think Leeds are gonna really surprise a lot of people. I caught some of the Championship last season. They play fantastic football. There's a reason why every manager that's worked under him praises Bielsa. Like, the guy is just a fountain of knowledge of football. He will adapt that team ready for Premier League. They've already done it. I think bringing in Rodrigo, who, like, Spanish international, looks like a great striker but can play all across the front. Pablo Hernandez, yeah, he's aging, he's 36, but he has got a brain on him. He knows how to play. He's just sat there shaking your head at me. I just think that they're going to be, out of the three that come up, Fulham are going down as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And West Brom are going down as far as I'm concerned. The fucking yo-yo club, they're going straight back down.
As well.
They're shite. But I think Leeds, I think if fans get back into the stadium especially, that's going to be a big factor in Leeds performing well this season, because I think Ellen Road is going to be absolutely booming with fans back in that stadium. But I look at that team, and apart from Patrick Bamford, which is the obvious flaw they've got because he's not a Premier League striker, but that's what they brought Rodrigo in for. Exactly. That's what they brought in Rodrigo for. Like 27 million is a lot of money, especially when you think that Aston Villa today have had a bid accepted for Ollie Watkins for 28 million.
I know, yeah.
That's a massive risk. But whereas Leeds have gone and bought a Spanish international that's done it in the Champions League, has done it in the Euros, like, I can just see, I just see Leeds doing good things. I really do.
How high would you expect them to go then, Leeds?
I'd say, I reckon probably about 11th.
Yeah.
I think that's where they finish. I think at 11th. And the argument I'm using with Sheffield is I think Sheffield are going to really struggle this season.
I honestly think that Leeds, at best this season, can just avoid relegation. Like, they'll get like 45 points or something. I hear what you're saying about Bielsa. I think Bielsa's a good manager. Let's face facts here. Leeds won the Championship last season. Yeah. They didn't, as well as they did at the end, right? They were poor in spells in the Championship last season. They lost far too many games. They don't look like they have any sort of plan apart from the football that they play, which worries me in the Premier League this season. You cannot play free-flowing attacking football against United, Chelsea, Arsenal, City, Spurs, even teams like Wolves, Leicester. They're going to rip you apart, and they've just lost the best defender as well. They had a really good defensive record in the Championship last season, Leeds, but a lot of that was to do with White, and they've not replaced him. And I doubt they've even got the money to replace him. This Rodrigo, they're expecting David Villa. I'm sorry, you're about to get Soldado. I just don't see him coming in and setting the Premier League alight. I might be wrong, but I just don't see him coming in and setting the Premier League alight. Patrick Bamford, I think he gets a lot of criticism. Sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's unfair. he's a bit like, I hate comparing Leeds players to United players. He reminds me a lot of Andy Cole. Like, on his day, he can be clinical, but a lot of times it takes him like 3 or 4 or 5 chances just to bag the one. But he does bag. Do you know what I mean? Like, how many goals he scored last season, Bamford? He still scored a fair few.
He did score a fair few. I can't remember, but he did all right in the end.
Yeah, whether it's going to translate, though, I don't know. I don't think Bielsa has the ego. I don't think he's going to let his ego go enough to play the type of football that is going to save Leeds United. Slaven Bilic does. Slaven Bilic will turn West Brom into a team that they were in parts last season, the Championship, which was sometimes the games were horrible to watch, but they ground out results when they needed to grind out results. They bottled it a bit in the end. Like, they were in a really good position. Did he draw like 20 games or something last season, West Brom? If West Brom performed,
they drew 17 games.
Exactly. Everyone's praising Leeds, but Leeds for me last season was more of a story of West Brom falling apart than Leeds being excellent. Yeah. I think West Brom were by far the best team in the Championship last season. And I think West Brom, I can see Leeds hating this because he fucking hates West Brom.
I have to agree with him, I do as well.
I mean, what do you lads think? Like, me and Danny are split, obviously.
I think that Leeds are going to be a problem for most teams. I think that they'll be resolute, and do you know what? If I was a Liverpool fan, I'd be fucking fuming about playing them first game of the season, because that will be the most pumped up they'll ever be, and they'll either be a scrap, an injury to a Liverpool player, a red card, or a Leeds win. I can see it going down that kind of route, because they'll be thinking, right, we've got ourselves back in the fucking Premier League after all these years, and our first games against the champions. They're going to be well up for it. And I think that they'll do Liverpool a massive, massive problem. Whether they'll beat them, that's a different story. I think Liverpool probably just have a bit too much for them, but they'll take a few fucking chunks out of them. That is absolutely certain.
I wouldn't be shocked to see Leeds win on Saturday.
Yeah,
I genuinely would not be shocked.
No, I wouldn't, because they'll be pumped up for it. Bielsa, tactical mastermind, he'll sort them out to get a result. Is it at Anfield?
It is at Anfield, yeah.
So, luckily for Leeds, they're playing Liverpool at Anfield without fans in the stadium yet. So that's another bonus. But I just generally think that Leeds are going to be that fucking pain in the arse team. It's going to be like playing a spicy Burnley. They'll go there. They'll be a pain in the arse. They'll be a pain in the arse, but they'll be hard to break down, but they'll be harder to defend against on the counter attack. So
yeah, I
do. Leeds are one of them where it was like, I don't know. They're a team that comes up where they're expected to do all right. It's kind of similar with Sheffield, but I think with the manager that they've got, and they will definitely make a few more signings before the end of the window. I just see them doing a little bit better than what people think they will. I think that they're not going to be a yo-yo team. They'll probably stay in the Premier League for a lot longer now. And I just think that whether they'll do better than Sheffield, maybe. I think Newcastle United will do better than both of them this year. But that's another
Newcastle could be a very big surprise package this season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
I knew it. Like, Lee will find any way of getting Newcastle United into the argument. Either Newcastle United or Alan St. Maximin.
Yeah, but to be honest, though, he's got a very good point. Like, we were talking about Everton's window earlier, and
what signings they've made this week?
Yeah, if Everton have had the second best, Newcastle have definitely had the third best.
Yeah.
33 million combined on Jeff Hendrick, Jamal Lewis, Ryan Fraser, Callum Wilson, and then a reserve goalkeeper. And they're not finished yet.
Ryan Fraser and Callum Wilson, that is like the best duo you can. That's like BBC nabbing Ant and Deck. That is class. That to get them two together.
He had the fifth highest number of assists last year. Ryan Fraser did.
Yeah.
And that's mental for Bournemouth.
Mental. Yeah.
And then you can supplement that. For Newcastle, you've got players like, and people laugh about him, but Jonjo Shelvey can whip the ball across that pitch better than anyone in the Premier League, I think. And then you've got Alan St. Maximin, You've got Joe Linton as a backup. Joe Linton as a backup, if he stands in the fucking penalty spot for the last 20 minutes of a game when they need a goal, he'll probably end up bagging a few.
No, he won't.
I realise what I'm saying.
Dale's face.
I realise what I'm saying.
You couldn't back up a hard drive, let alone a fucking.
So, well, Joe Linton will be a backup to Andy Carroll, probably.
Listen, I mean, if you think of that front four of Fraser, Almiron, Wilson, and I'd say Maximan.
Yeah,
that's a decent fucking front four. That
it is.
Dale, what are you saying about surprise package?
Yeah, they've got a bit of defensive issues, Newcastle. Jamal Lascelles or Lascelles, as he.
Oh, Lee, just carry on talking. Yeah.
What's that got to do with the Community Shield?
I'll shut up. Newcastle will do all right. 8th.
I agree with you, Lee. Go on, Dale.
8th?
What?
And you're the one not drinking tonight.
What was in that protein shake?
Fucking hell. Newcastle are going to finish 8th and Leeds are a spicy bird.
That was a big rod,
Go to Dale.
Big rod, that. 12.
Put him off.
12.
Put him off.
Right.
12?
12, yeah.
No, I think from probably looking more sort of back end of last season, especially the second half of the season, I think Southampton might do.
Great shout. It's a great
might
shout.
do better than where they were where they finished this season. I thought they got them playing some really good football at times, especially after lockdown. They seem to be a very sort of fit team, and he pressed very high for long periods of the games. Got a fair few decent results. They beat City at home. They got a point away at us. I think sort of back end of the second half of the season, they got him playing some really good football, and obviously they've still got Danny Ings up front, and I expect a decent season again if he stays fit, goals wise. So yeah, if they could maintain that for more than sort of 6 months, I think they've got a decent shout for sort of mid-table.
I think that's a fucking phenomenal shout. That you say the second half of the season, you could argue after that 9-0 loss, basically.
Yeah.
That was a catalyst for them last season. If you can build on that, I don't know what they've done transfer-wise, really. I know they sold Højbjerg, and they've brought in a central defender, but I don't actually know what they've done, if they've done anything really.
Don't know.
I've not heard much. They got Kyle Walker-Peters back on loan and back on permanent, didn't they? But
it's a decent signing, that.
Yeah.
Josh saying surprise package. Don't go off like Lee did. Jesus Christ.
No, I was thinking exactly the same as Dale. I was going to say Southampton because I was basing it on the back end of their season. They drew with us and we were lucky to get a point, to be honest, because it should have been 2 or 3-0 to them before we got our goal. And they drew 2-2 with you, if I remember rightly. So
yeah, they got 2 draws against us last season.
Yeah. And like Dale said, a 1-0 win. What is up with Dale's face right now? And that's
I'm back.
They had that cracking result against City where City threw everything at them and they managed to defend them against Kevin De Bruyne was trying everything, wasn't he? I think that was probably about the time where I slagged him off and said he was crap.
They brought in that Salasu from Real Valladolid, the centre-back who looks decent.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the podcast. To support us, please follow us on social media by searching for @4manx1toffee on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. You can also subscribe to the podcast on all major podcast stations, including Spotify, Google and Apple Podcasts and Anchor, as well as YouTube. Just search for 4manx1toffee. Thanks from myself, Lee, Danny, Dale and Josh, and we'll catch you next time.